Broadcasting live from the command beacon on the plane of this commander set, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to a special emergency podcast remediation bunker edition of Tap Tap Concede.
Assuming you were a video watcher.
Yeah.
If you're an audio watcher,
if
nothing's changed.
If you're an audio watcher, you have synesthesia, and awesome for you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an exciting issue.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're a listener to the podcast, you probably won't notice a huge difference. If you're viewing it, you will notice that there is nothing going on because there was a minor flood in our video studio where the podcast set is. Everything's fine, except that half the carpet is gone, and we can't really use our set right now because the room is in utter disarray. But we can bring you this audio at least.
Yeah, the good news is there's a remediation company, and they've come down and they've put down stuff so it doesn't smell like wet dog butt in here, because it kind of did.
Yeah.
But the bad news is that our set's completely torn apart and is not going to get put back together before Desert Bus at this point.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Desert Bus, that's the thing that we're doing that starts next week. You should check that out at desertbus.org. It's a massive charity fundraising event that we do, that we stream live on Twitch TV, and it takes a lot of work, which is why we're focusing on that and not really able to focus on getting the set back together.
Well, we also can't put the set back together until they put in new carpet.
Carpet gets it's a whole thing. Anyway, so let's talk about some Commander 2015 spoilers, because we're really excited about that after we
crack a pack.
We crack a pack. So we assure you that Kathleen is rolling the giant...
I'll try to roll it towards the microphone.
Sure, that's totally gonna... Well, we probably heard that. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, hey, it's something more recent. It's a pack of Theros.
That's perfect, because there's Theros cards and Theros mechanics in Commander 2015.
Yeah, and there's a note glued to the back. Hey guys, thanks for being awesome. Hope you crack something amazing in this booster, from Zach. Well,
thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. I believe this was actually mailed to us rather than given to us at an event. I could be wrong. Anyway, Theros time. Get that up in the mic. Yeah. All right. Fleet Feather Sandals. I lost a game to once, and I don't like talking about it because I don't think they're that good.
Nope.
What do they do?
It's a 2-mana artifact equipment. It equips for 2. The equipped creature has flying and haste.
Yeah, no, this card's not very good.
It's okay.
It's
like a C- D.
What if your deck is filled
system?
with a bunch of like green giant dorks?
I think that's the situation in which you lose to this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you lost? Just to a big dude who's like just a vanilla creature that didn't do anything, but then it's just like, it has flying and haste. Take 8.
Yeah, they were just like, what was that 5/2 Cyclops?
I
Right?
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, they were just like, this guy kill you? And I was like, oh, I guess.
Yep, that'll happen.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the flying. It's like, I can keep killing his creatures, but any creature, he just equips this and hits me, and it's like, oh, God. Anyway, speaking of Cyclopses, the Ill-Tempered Cyclops.
He's so cranky.
Is this guy was actually pretty good. Like a really solid card in Theros block draft. It's he's a 3/3 for 3 and a red with trample. So a hill giant with trample, but he has monstrosity 3 for 5 and a red. If this creature is not monstrous, you put 3+1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous.
Oh, so then it becomes a 6/6 trample.
Yeah,
This
guy was
guy
good.
was super good. Mm-hmm. Current first pick.
That guy won the 5-2
Oh yeah, what's that called again?
Cyclops of One-Eyed Pass.
One-Eyed Pass. That's what it was. I was like, I was thinking of the giant of Shatterskull Pass, but I'm like, that's not it. And I wanted to call it the One-Eyed Cyclops.
That's kind of what
But
I
they
wanted
all
to call
are.
it.
I know,
but they're all-
exactly. I was like, no, it can't be One-Eyed Cyclops, Graham. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, the Cyclops of One-Eyed Pass. All right. Next up, our old friends, the Guardians of Meletis.
Recently reprinted.
In Origins, they're a 0/6 for 3 colorless mana, and they block everything except something that has Fleet Feather Sandals on it. So,
I recall these being just very okay.
yeah, they were fine. They were not great. I think they're better in Origins than they were in Theros, to be
Absolutely,
honest.
they were terrible. And I don't like them in Theros, but yeah, they were pretty good. Well, because a lot of the Three mana is a lot because Origins was really fast, but the fast decks, an 06 just blocks them all day.
Here's a great 2-drop for the aggressive red-black deck. This is the Death Bellow Raider. It's a 2/3 Minotaur for 1 and a red. So 2/3 for 2. It must attack every turn if able, but for 2 and a black, you can regenerate it. So generally, you didn't have to on the first couple turns. It could attack pretty freely initially. Nice little guy, especially if you have Minotaur Matters cards. Savage Surge, green instant for 1 and a green. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Untap that creature.
Yep.
Boy, playing around Savage Surge was no fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good combat trick.
Yep.
Is that the first pick
would-
right now?
I think I still would take the Cyclops.
I might even take the Raider just because 2-drops are so important. But this is only like 5 commons in. So.
Yep.
Feral Invocation, 2 and a green for a creature enchantment aura with flash, and the creature gets +2/+2. So it's like the Savage Surge, but it stays. It's more expensive. It doesn't untap the creature, but it's a +2/+2 that sticks around. Next up is Feral Invocation. It's a 2 and a green for a creature enchantment aura with flash, and the creature gets +2/+2.
I like this card, actually.
Yeah, it didn't always get in because it's a little expensive, but it's a combat trick that sticks around, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's 200 green.
Yeah, I mean, just a little
Like-
expensive for holding up as a combat trick. Like holding 3 mana up was not great in this format, but yeah, no, the Feral Invocation is good, especially if you have anything that cares about casting enchantments.
Yeah. Which, that was the thing.
Yes.
That
Also
was very much a
targeting
thing.
with heroic. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could get really goofy with the Feral Invocation. Returned Centaur
Ugh.
is 3 and a black for a 2/4 Zombie Centaur. When it enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
I didn't really like this card.
Really?
It was. I mean, it was okay in the deck that it needed to be in, but
It was
I
fine.
just hate 2/4s. 2/4s are dumb.
In the self mill deck though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the right deck, it's really good. But I don't like 2/4s.
Oh.
I'm a monster though.
It's my boy, Hopeful Eidolon.
Oh, is
Yeah,
this the
those
lifelink one?
Yeah.
All right,
that's
first pick.
It's a 1/1 for 1 with lifelink.
Yeah,
That's not very good.
but has
But it has Bestow, which is for 3 and a white, you cast it as a creature enchantment. The enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and lifelink. Man, if you can curve into this, like you
It's
get like
so good.
a 1 or 2 drop heroic creature,
yeah.
and then you get this on them on turn 4, it's so gross. I think also you can. I say the 1/1 for 1. I was derisive of the 1/1 for 1 with lifelink. There's totally games that you can win where you cast this on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you cast one of the what are they called? There's a cycle
The
of 2 mana.
ordeals.
Yeah, the ordeals. You
Yeah.
cast like an ordeal of Heliod on this guy.
Yeah.
So then he's he's
they're-
attacking for 2 lifelink on turn 2, 3 on turn 3, 4 on turn 4, and then you gain 10 life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a curve out.
No, that
Part.
card is sweet. And Bestow, I think, is actually probably like one of my favorite mechanics since we came back to this game.
Yeah, Bestow's super cool.
Super high up there for
It
me.
was good.
Yeah. Fate Foretold is pretty cool, actually. It's 1 and a blue for a creature enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. When the enchanted creature dies, draw a card.
See, this seems fine, but it was really good in this set.
It was really good with heroic.
Yes.
What was the
And the blue-white heroic deck was a real thing.
Triton Fortune Hunter?
Oh,
is the
yeah.
2/2 for 3 that when you trigger its heroic, you draw a card. So you could cast Fate Foretold on it, draw 2 cards. It's pretty good. Also, now this is interesting. Technically the wording is when it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
When the enchanted creature dies, its controller draws a card. So
Right.
you could,
Act of treason.
if you really had to, you could cast it on your opponent's creature to draw a card, and I saw that happen, and that person did not win that game. But you could if you really had to.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of active treason, that's not in the set, but you know what it is? Portent of Betrayal. Woo! 3 and a red. How did you do that, by the way?
I'm awesome.
Apparently. 3 and a red. Sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste. Scry 1. So it's active treason for 1 colorless more, but with a scry on it. So that's nice.
Yeah. No, I like that card.
Tormented Hero.
The black one drop?
The black one drop.
Yeah.
This was our preview card.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was going to say, why do I know this card so well?
Yep. It's a 2/1 for a single black mana, and it enters the battlefield tapped because he's so tormented.
Yeah.
But whenever you cast a spell that targets him, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. No, sorry. You gain life equal to the life lost, which is different than you gain 1 life. Because in a multiplayer game, say Two-Headed Giant, right? That's how that works, isn't it? Yeah, each opponent? Yeah. So
Yep.
you target this with Heroic. Each of your opponents lose 1 life and you gain 2 life.
Seems decent.
He was never actually that amazing in draft.
He was
but,
okay.
Yeah. Oh. Nylea's Emissary. Probably the best cat in the set, I think. Unless I'm forgetting something ridiculous. I mean, there's in this set, because Brimaz wasn't until
Correct.
later one. Anyway, 3 and a green for a 3/3 cat with trample. Bestow for 5 and a green. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and trample.
Yeah, no, this card was sweet.
Yeah, Nylea's
This is
Emissary.
first pickable. Like,
Oh,
I think this
yeah.
is actually the first pick right now.
Yeah, if you could like, it's this or the Hopeful Eidolon. Like,
Yeah.
if you could like, just put, it's the trample that really gets there because later, like you got your heroic guy, you've been building it up, you've been chiseling away at your opponent, but then they managed to put up a bunch of defense, and then it's like, okay, now it just has now it's 3 bigger and it has trample. What are you going to do?
Deal with it.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, it's a cat.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Although we have another really possible first pick here. It's another 1 drop. It's the Favored Hoplite. 1/2 for a single white mana. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1/+1 counter on Favored Hoplite and prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn.
Yep.
Right. This card was also kind of a beating.
Real gross.
That's a rare.
Our rare, we have a mountain, by the way. Our rare, I guess probably is just the first pick for a variety of reasons. It's Xenagos the Reveler.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Planeswalker.
Wow. Zach did say, I hope you crack something amazing.
We
thanks,
did.
Zach.
Good job, Zach.
So 2 red-green for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker when he lands on the field. +1, add X in any combination of red and or green to your mana pool, where X is the number of creatures you control, which is fun for a variety of hilarious ramping things. For 0, you can just make a 2/2 red-green satyr creature with haste. So you can just make a 2/2 and bash, or make a 2/2 and defend, which is nice. -6, which I don't think I ever saw happen. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. You may put any number of creatures and or land cards from among them onto the battlefield. That was
I don't think I
basically-
ever saw anybody do that.
Basically irrelevant because the other 2 abilities are
Were so good.
yeah. I mean, that's an easy first pick. It's a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Xenagos, I'd be looking between Hopeful Eidolon, Favored Hoplite, and Nylea's Emissary.
Me too. I think everybody agrees.
All right. Sweet. That was a
So-
good pack.
That
Hey.
was a good pack.
Hey, everybody. It's that time of year again. It's Commander spoilers. I'm so glad they made this
A yearly
a
thing.
yearly thing.
Yeah.
I think it's really great. So the 3 of us and Cam, who's joining us now,
Hi. Cam's here. Yeah.
going to talk about some cards that we are excited to see so far from the Commander spoilers. Even though, as Cam, as you mentioned on Twitter, not really into Commander as much anymore.
No, Commander isn't really my game.
But there was they stapled one of your pet cards to a body.
Yeah. When I was playing Commander, one of my favorite cards was Mind Moil.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was a 5 mana enchantment from Return to Ravnica for 4 and a red, I think, or 5 and a red. And whenever you cast a spell, you put all the cards in your hand on the bottom of your library in any order, and you drew that many cards again.
And now you have a commander that does that.
And that was
Actually, let's talk about that card.
that was not a May either.
No.
no, that was a must.
Yeah, and it was really fun to play around with that card with cards like Blue Sun Zenith. where you fill
Which
up
is
your
also
hand
in this
and-
set.
Yeah, well, you stack the triggers in such a way to, like, fill up your hand, and then you cycle through your entire deck, essentially, acquiring, because you could put the cards in any order, perfect deterministic knowledge of your deck's order.
And also, what you would use it for to great efficacy was your commander was Niv Mizzet. Was it Niv Mizzet the Firemind?
Yes, Niv the Firemind.
Who has an ability that whenever you draw a card, he deals 1 damage to a creature or player.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just cast a spell, and you had like no maximum hand size. So you'd cast a spell, you'd put 12 cards in the bottom of your deck, draw 12 cards, and turn Niv Mizzet into just like an orbital laser.
Yeah, well, actually, I wound up taking out the maximum hand card, hand size cards, because I just they were cute,
But you didn't even need them.
Yeah, well, you wound up casting so many spells anyways.
All right, but let's talk about this new commander.
Arjun, the shifting flame. I guess, isn't that from Indian mythology? Arjuna?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not up on it.
But, man, I want to like this guy. Sure is a commander card. For 4 red, blue, you get a 5/5 flyer. He is a Sphinx Wizard.
I think
course.
I think you're facing away from the mic there. Sorry.
Yeah, he is a Sphinx Wizard for 6 mana. And he Mind Moils. That's it. Whenever you cast a spell, you...
Do exactly
You
what we
must
just
put all your cards in the bottom of your deck and draw that many cards.
Yep. And like...
I dig it.
Yeah, a load of fun if you have some way of capitalizing on things that draw cards. Like,
there are lots of ways to capitalize on it. And
well, things like Jace's Ingenuity, Sphinx's Tutelage.
I think this is one of those cards where a commander playgroup would look at it and go,
ugh.
that is a weird ability. Why is that ability there? And then one person in the group like Cameron goes, oh my god,
Yeah.
I know what to do.
Well, I mean, he sure as hell ain't no Grizzlebrand.
Yeah.
No.
But then again, you're not allowed to play Grizzlebranding, or Grizzlebrand isn't allowed to be your commander, I think.
I believe that's correct.
Right.
Also, related, I assume. See, I don't actually know. I don't think it's been released, but we don't actually know which cards are in which decks.
The actual deck list have been...
Oh, the deck list have been spoiled?
Yes, they have.
Okay, so there's a card. It's called Thought Vessel, I think. It's just a 2-drop artifact. You have no maximum hand size and tap for 1 colorless mana, which seems pretty sweet. I assume it's in his deck. If I had to guess.
Actually, it is not.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
So, pro tip.
Put it in there.
The artifacts in the Seize Control deck, which is the blue-red deck, are Soul Ring, predictably. Is it Signet? And
I think
Worn
Soul Ring.
Powerstone.
I think Soul Ring's Worn Power Stone.
Yeah.
Dang! I think Soul Ring's in every deck.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Here, just put your computer like on the table, then you can face the rest of us. Or maybe you don't like looking at us. I don't know.
So, one thing I think the commander group needs to figure out is whether they want Divining Top in this format or not.
Yeah.
And if they do, they need to reprint it in one of these sets, like they do with Soul Ring,
Right.
where it's just like if your group is playing with top, we've made tops that are now not $30 for an uncommon that are basically required, and if they aren't, it'd be nice if they just like banned it. Because it is kind of a miserable card to play against in a large play group when multiple people have tops out.
Yeah, and it's absolutely nothing to do with the power level of the top, which is very high. It's just that it takes so long.
it slows the game down.
It's just that it's like one player does something, and then you get 2 or 3 players going, hey, in response I top.
Yeah.
And then they have to like look at their cards and make decisions, and that's totally fair. Absolutely. Because you look at the 3, you got to make decisions.
But speaking of...
But
Legal commander abandoned modern.
yeah.
yeah, but
With good reason.
Yeah, it is
Speaking
bad in
of-
modern,
speaking of speed of the game, there's a new mechanic that they have brought in that I believe is designed to speed up the game, which is Myriad.
yeah, this mechanic seems nuts.
So there's a lot of Myriad cards. Does anybody have one in specific they wanted to talk about?
Nope. Talk to me about Myriad.
All right. Well, Myriad, basically, let me pull up a card here that has Myriad on it. I wasn't going to talk about a Myriad card, but now I've put myself on the spot, so it's really my own fault. All right, here's the literal first one that I found. Broodbirth Viper. And you might be wanting to talk about snakes, James, so I'm sorry if I'm talking about a card you want. It's a 3/3 for 5 with Myriad.
It's not amazing.
Okay, well, whenever Broodbirth Viper deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card.
Oh, it's got it's an Ophidian.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Myriad, whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may put a token that's a copy of this creature onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that player, or a planeswalker he or she controls. Exile the token at the end of combat. So, if you have a creature with Myriad, and there's an artifact that will give Myriad as a add-on, don't put that on your commander, obviously, or any other legendary creature you happen to control. But if
have pro tips.
Yeah, but if I'm playing, say I'm playing Cam and James and Graham, and I have this Viper, and I decide to attack Graham, I also get 2 clones of it that are attacking James and Cam, and I can get maybe 1 or 2 cards off it.
This seems great.
Yes, and
This ability is nuts.
and like I said, I think this is designed to speed up the game because you turn
okay with
guys
that.
sideways and everybody has to deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree. Anything that speeds up Commander games is aces in my book.
You just attack your real creature into whichever
Board is the best.
into whichever board probably won't kill it, and then you just get free rolls on the other ones. Maybe they'll just run into a 4/4 and die. Whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you take out a token or a blocker or something.
Maybe you have sacrifice outlets.
And maybe, like, I also really like that it's not a May ability, that it just happens. So you're like, sorry, everyone.
Oh, I guess it just- oh,
I guess
well.
we're all fighting now, and it's not really my fault. All this guy knows is war.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Like, he comes from a broken home, and it's not really his fault, and it's definitely not my fault, so...
It leads into a card that I kind of want to talk about.
All right.
Which is Mirror Match.
Oh,
Which I think this is like probably my favorite. It's a blue card, which is weird because I'm not really generally a blue player, but I guess I'm going to have to be because the other card I'm going to talk about is my new Snake Mander
love.
But,
by the way, love the name of this card.
of Mirror Match.
Yeah, Mirror Match.
Yeah, it's so good. So Mirror Match is 4 blue for an instant. Cast Mirror Match only during the declare blocker step. Okay. That's new. For each creature attacking you or a planeswalker you control, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield, blocking that creature. Exile those tokens at the end of combat.
Tradesies.
I love this card so much. This card is ridiculous. So you do the myriad thing, and then you cast this, and then all of a sudden it's just like everything is going to die.
That's really good.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's super cool, and I am excited to put it in my new blue-green snake deck, which I guess I'll get to in a minute. But
I have
Graham, talk about a card.
Yeah, I have a big, scary, expensive card as well. I want to talk about two just big, dumb green cards, and then a land. Azuri's Predation
Yeah, this card
is
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Have you seen this, Cam?
They got Azuri.
Yeah, Azuri got completed.
Remember Azuri Renegade Leader from
Yes.
Mirrodin?
He's now Azuri Phyrexian guy.
He looks
I
badass.
don't know the name of the card exactly, but
Phyrexian oil, not even once.
yeah. But he's got this sorcery. 5 green.
8 drops.
8 mana, 3 of them green.
Yeah, but that's fine in Commander.
Yeah, but listen to what it does.
Oh, I'm
For
aware.
each creature your opponents control.
Opponents.
So for every creature that's not yours on the battlefield,
Which can be a lot.
you get a 4/4 green beast token. Each of those beasts fights a different one of those creatures.
So, not all of your beasts are going to live.
So not only is it a one-sided board wipe because your creatures don't die, but you also get
A bunch of beasts.
a bunch of beasts who presumably also won't be dying.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Some of their creatures are going to live. Some of your beasts are going to live. But you're going to end up with a lot more stuff than everybody else.
Yeah. And then the other one, real quick, is because I've talked about my Tree Folk deck a lot, and so a lot of people got on Twitter and were like, "Yo, Graham, you got a new Tree Folk," and this guy gets in. Great Oak Guardian, 5 and a green for a 4/5 with reach. All right, that's not astounding. 6 mana for a 4/5, whatever. It's got flash.
That's pretty good.
So, surprise 4/5 for 6 with reach. All right, I'll take it. When it enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls, doesn't have to be you, could be someone else. All their creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn and untap them. So you can use it as a massive defense and eat a bunch of your opponent's creatures if someone's attacking you. Or you can be like, I see James has just sent a million snakes at Cam and all of Cam's creatures are tapped out. I flash in this guy. Cam, your creatures are huge and untapped. So yeah, that guy's going to get into...
A lot of decks.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
not just your deck.
Specifically my commander deck. Just because you mentioned it, James, updates to your commander deck?
Yeah, so
You got yours...
I have my mono green snake deck with Seshiro the Anointed as my commander, but
who is called out in the flavor text for this card, right?
Yeah, so I'll read out everything here. So Cassetto, maybe? I don't actually know. Kaseto, I assume that's Cassetto. Orochi Archmage. For 1 green-blue, you get a 2/2 legendary snake wizard. So that's sweet. It's a snake wizard. And for blue and green, target creature can't be blocked this turn. If that creature is a snake, it gets +2/+2. And then
That's so good for your deck.
The flavor text is, our revered ancestor Seshiro gave us wisdom greater than poison and fangs, which is really cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, it means I can change up my commander deck to be a multicolor deck and make it like a snaky tempo-y deck.
Blue-green is very good.
Yeah, so
it's a good combo. It's one of my favorites.
And there's a lot of other really cool snake cards in the set. But the last card that I really wanted to talk about really quickly, and I just need to find it now, is the red. Where is it? The Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, the Wheel of Fortune
on a dude.
On a dude.
Yeah,
it's like he's a 2-drop.
Magus of the wheel. 2 in a red for a 3/3 human wizard, and for 1 red, tap it, sacrifice it. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws 7 cards.
That seems very good.
That seems super sweet. I'm super excited for this card too.
Also happy to see Magus's come back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think this card's going to be pretty sweet.
It's a good hoser card for somebody who spends a lot of time painstakingly putting their stuff together, right? Then you can be like, no.
Yeah, and just refill your hand too. And
I mean, yeah, it's
pretty
good.
Pretty good. Pretty awesome for red when it's just like, play this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Sack it. I'm going to draw 7 cards.
Yeah.
You all discard a lot of cards because you are not as fast as I am.
Exactly. Cam, do you have anything exciting you want to talk about?
Well, there are a couple more cards here. I mean, Mizzix of the Is Magnus. She's fun, right?
Could you repeat that?
Mizzix of the Is Magnus.
Are you sure that this isn't an existing card that got run through Gazoogle?
Yeah, no, I know exactly, right?
It sounds like
Niv Mizzet has kind of an ego problem. So if you want advancement, you just name yourself after him and name your inventions after him. So
Nivix of the Ismag. It really sounds like a normal Ravnica Magic card being pronounced by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like the Izzet only seem to have 3 or 4 syllables that they really go to, and they just mash things together.
They're a fan of that Z sound.
Yeah, exactly. So what she is she is a goblin wizard for 2 blue red, and you get a 2/2. And at this point, I'm like, definitely a commander card. Let's see what she does. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost greater than the number of experience counters you have, you get an experience counter. Interesting. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 colorless less for each to cast for each experience counter you have.
The experience counter is a theme that is in a bunch of the new commanders, such as like Daxos Returns and stuff like that. And that's interesting because I feel like the experience counters don't stay with the commander, right? You just get one.
Yeah,
they're like sit in the command zone or something.
They go to you.
Yeah. So at first you're like, I mean, the die and then the experience the thing. But no, that's good because commanders die all the time, but you don't lose your counters for that.
Yeah, well, and especially considering that the blue-red deck has a lot of cantrips in it, which is very unusual for a commander deck because in commander cards like Ponder and Preordain and Brainstorm just aren't very good, right? They don't affect a 4-player game enough.
No.
But they just become additional kinds of fuel, right? Because you just start ramping into things. And then that does become very exciting.
Well, speaking of counters, this is a card that is going into my vampire deck. It's called Thief of Blood. It is a vampire. She is a 1/1 for 6. So a colossal failure on the vanilla.
Which sounds terrible. Tell me more.
But she flies.
Hooray.
Okay. No, here's
Flying men for 6 mana.
Here's the useful part. As Thief of Blood enters the battlefield, remove all counters from all permanents. Thief of Blood enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each counter removed this way. So goodbye, Planeswalkers. Goodbye, quests. Goodbye.
Yeah, we're talking +1/+1 counters, obviously. We're talking -1/-1 counters. So anything from like Undying or
Kitchen
Persist.
Finks or whatever.
We're talking charge counters on artifacts. We're talking Oblivion counters, lore counters.
Suspend counters.
Suspend counters aren't on permanents, though.
Oh, they aren't?
They're in the exile zone.
No, and then
right.
experience counters. Experience counters don't count because they're not on permanents.
Because those are on
There's
players.
that deck idea.
Yeah. But
But
Thief of Blood seems rad.
Well, because
it also just like you said, it's like I get like a 7/7 flyer. Also, all your planeswalkers are dead.
Well, and the nice thing about having this card be in black is not necessarily the planeswalkers, because black has ways of dealing with planeswalkers, but all of those artifact and charge counters and stuff like that. Black doesn't really have a lot of ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments, and some of the more popular commander artifacts and enchantments, for like the laser decks and stuff like that, all require like tapping up and putting counters on stuff and like that. And this kind of neatly hoses it, which is really nice. And that's sort of something that was missing from Black's toolkit earlier.
Yeah. How many counters do you have to eat before you're really happy playing her out?
I mean,
4, 5?
It depends on where they're coming from. Like if I'm killing a planeswalker, I'm happy with a 3/3.
yeah.
Probably happy with a 2/2, honestly. If it's like, 6 mana for a 2/2 flyer and kill a planeswalker, right? It's like, yeah, that's a probably play that.
But the thing
like
is,
3 and up, happy about it.
Yeah, if you have like a 6 mana sorcery that was destroy target planeswalker, get a
3/3 flyer.
Yeah, you would play that. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is, this is also like, this is Commander, so yeah, there's definitely going to be times where you're going to get like a 3/3 flyer out of it, and you're like, good, fine. But this is Commander, it's a multiplayer format, and there are people that play like the twiddle decks, where you're basically just ticking up counters on artifacts, and I'm trying to remember the name of the card. It's basically the laser card.
Lux Cannon.
Lux Cannon, and people have like 8 counters on their Lux Cannon. This
turns chimeric mass into a plank.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of and like scavenging ooze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The point being, there's going to be times where this is a 20/20 flyer if you play it late.
Yeah.
Shame about your storage lands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
lots of people play those too.
I see you've been working real hard on your on your board state.
It's like-
shame if something happened to
It's
it.
like worse than a wrath in some cases. Because
Yeah.
like you're like, oh, my deck is so persistent to wrath, I just have all these dudes that I animate and they become XXs, where X is equal to the no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So if your opponent is playing with Awaken cards, you can actually just wrath out a bunch of lands with this.
Yes.
They would.
They're still
they
lands.
just turn
Still
back into
lands,
lands.
yeah.
Well, no.
Oh no, because they're 0/0, so they would die.
0/0 elemental creatures.
They
Oh,
are
right.
also lands, but they are 0/0. So yeah, if they would just kill,
Cool.
it would
Quarter
just
case
kill
additional
awakened
value.
lands.
I feel like I said, I think that's Magical Christmas Land, that this land is a 20/20, but occasionally it does, and you feel amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I really like this card. I was really Mark Forsyth spoiled this. didn't he?
Or Aaron Forsyth.
Aaron
Aaron
Forsyth.
Forsyth. Yeah.
Mark Rosewater, Aaron
Mark,
Forsyth.
yeah.
But-
Same guy. Same guy.
Real good though.
Run that in a deck with Dark Depths.
Yep.
Yes.
Blow
No,
up
yeah,
there.
that was the overwhelming.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Then you
it
get
was
two 20/20 flyers.
Yeah, it was like this Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, Vampire Hex Mage.
Dear God.
Whoa.
Just deal with Merit Lodge, and it's like nice 20/20. Welcome to Commander.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I
talking
mean,
Bounces
it's still
off my 35/35.
yeah.
Hey, speaking of lands, I just wanted to talk about a new land that they're doing. So Command Tower is back. Presumably there will be a Command Tower in every deck like there was previously. There's also a new one, the Command Beacon, which is at rarity. Not that it
Matters.
rarity doesn't really matter in Commander as much, because
It's a one of.
it's a one of in these decks. It doesn't, but they assign them based on sort of like how fancy they are or whatever. So the Command Beacon, it's a land. Tap to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Cool. Tap and sacrifice Command Beacon. Put your commander into your hand from the command zone.
Yeah, I was looking at this earlier.
So if it's like, boy,
Boy, you just killed my commander again.
it's been killed so many times. It's now so expensive for me to
It
cast
costs
this.
15 mana for.
Oh, wait, I'll just bring it into my hand and cast it for reals.
So is this a balancing measure that Wizards has come up with against what's her name? Bird Wizard.
Oh, Deviri. Or
Derivi.
Derivi.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Like,
What's
it's
Derivi
not-
do
it's-
again?
Well, she's like a... God, she's a flyer for 4.
Bird Wizard, I know that.
Bird Wizard.
We made a big
She's
deal
in
about
band
that.
colors Derevi. Empyrean Tactician. But she kind of has a reputation of being this commander that is the spiky commander.
yes.
She's in very good colors for singleton formats. And she's just impossible to get rid of.
That's
Right.
true, yeah.
And when tuck effects were changed to just putting commanders back into the command zone, many people were like, well, how do we deal with Daravi then?
But this is only your commander.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't put someone else's commander.
No. But this kind of gives everyone an ability similar to
Right.
Daravi's.
Right.
At
You
least
can just-
once.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you can take your commander out of the command zone, put it into your hand, and cast it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not free, or it's not instant like Daravi. It's
And it's not like endlessly repeatable, but yeah.
yeah. It's not as good, but it is.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. Also, just real quick, there's a reprint of a land from Urza's Saga. It's just a neat little thing. It's called Blasted Landscape. It just taps for 1 colorless, and you can cycle it for 2. Mm-hmm. It's just a little. I just think it's neat.
It's useful.
It's just a little neat card.
Yeah.
It doesn't come in tapped or anything. It just taps for 1 colorless mana. It's basically about as close as you're ever going to get to the colorless basic.
Yeah.
The Berries land, the cave, that whole thing.
And I just wanted to correct myself earlier. I said that Thought Vessel wasn't in the blue-red deck. It's not in the main board, but it is in the pack of additional cards. It's like they have a 14-card sideboard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can sort of
Customize it.
You can like kit your deck out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So Thought Vessel goes into that.
So each of these commander decks is actually like 114 cards.
It would appear so.
Value.
That's neat. I'm looking forward to these things.
All right. Does anybody else have any other cards they want to talk about?
No, go for it. I know that you have another one.
I have one that, okay, we've been talking a lot about speeding up the game and everything. This is slowing down the game. I want to talk about Synthetic Destiny because I was like, oh, yeah, F
this
your
card
board
is,
wipe.
This card is ridiculous.
It's an instant for 6, but it's in blue. That's fine. Exile all creatures you control. At the beginning of the next end step, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal that many creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. Yes.
Weird.
That's really good in my Una deck.
Oh, with all your fairies?
Yeah. Well, because my Una deck is quite... draws out board wipes quite a bit because it makes all the fairies. And then I can replace the fairy tokens with fairies because it just says creatures, right? Not permanent creatures, non-token creatures.
Relevant.
I like that. So basically, the use case is somebody's like, I wrath the board. You're like, in response, Synthetic Destiny.
This is
Well-
mass polymorph,
It's similar to Mass Polymorph.
but mass polymorph
But
is sorcery.
Mass Polymorph is a
Actually,
sorcery.
wouldn't, if you put it on the stack in response to the wrath, wouldn't all the creatures come in and then get wrathed?
Yes.
All right, no, you do it.
But like using it with tokens is absolutely correct. Right?
Yeah,
take all
you can't. Yeah, this isn't like.
This does not work how I want it to work, which is getting around people wrathing my board.
Yes.
No.
No, it's
Oh no! It totally works because they don't come until the end step.
Yes,
it
thank
totally
you.
does work. Yeah.
Perfect.
Which is why, sorry, because I was just going to say something you might want to watch out for if you have a very literalist rules person in your play group is do not say at the end of your turn I cast Synthetic Destiny.
No.
You want to say at the end of your main phase.
Yeah.
Because the wording is exile the creatures at the beginning of the next end step. Then you reveal all the creatures. So you have to do it when you get priority at the end of their second main phase, so that then the end step happens and you can do this.
Yeah. So here's
It does mean they get priority again.
all right. I mean, yeah, and they could like counter it or something like that. But here, so Cam casts a wrath, and I say, okay, at the end of your main phase, I cast Synthetic in response.
In response to the wrath.
Yeah.
So you do it. You do cast it in response to the wrath.
Yeah.
If Cam's like Wrath of God or Damnation or
Whatever.
whatever.
There's
say-
so many wraths.
You say, okay, in response, Synthetic Destiny. The
wrath happens.
You exile all your creatures. Then the wrath happens.
Yeah.
Then your end step, you reveal X cards.
Or I reveal cards until I hit X creatures.
Yeah.
And then I shuffle all of the spells back into my library.
That seems really good.
It's very, very good. It's very good.
So yeah, that's why they worded it like that, so
you could
that you didn't just flash them all in and then have them get wrathed.
Have them get wrath.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wraths are very common in Commander. So just
Yup.
because you can survive one does not mean that does not mean that another one will be coming. But it is a good way to, like, there's lots of game states where somebody's like, oh, top deck of Wrath, and now I'm going to win. And it's like, nope. Right.
Although, in my experience, if you find a way around a wrath, it'll just make the next person
Cast a wrath.
yeah,
Want a
super
wrath
angry
even
and
harder.
confused.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you?
All right.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about these.
I mean, we definitely need to play. So I have two AFK stream ideas.
I was gonna say,
All right,
this
so
is definitely some stuff we should do.
So AFK stream the first. We just play Commander.
Yeah, because
With these decks.
we've been talking about that. No, we just play Commander, whatever. Like we've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah. Regardless of whether they're with these decks or our own decks,
For those
whatever.
unfamiliar, if you are only a Tap Tap Concede listener and you have missed all of our streaming that we talk about pretty frequently, we stream a lot, and we recently hit a tier on our Patreon. Thank you to do what we call the AFK streams, which is ones that are not video games, and we're going to be setting up a better sort of system for that. And one of the things we want to do is obviously live Magic, and we've always said, well, 4 or 5 player Commander game, that's got to happen. So that's got to
God, 5. That's
gotta
too
happen.
many. Too many. But here's my other idea. We turn the 5 Commander decks into a cube and draft it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that would do, but I want to do it because I think that would be hilarious.
That would be amazing.
That sounds dumb, and I love it.
Yeah, that sounds stupid.
Where does your commander come in?
There is
Or do you
no.
just-
These are
just
draft. This is draft.
Okay.
It's not draft. Play all 100 cards. It's because it's like a 6 or an 8 person draft. It's limited
Because
it's just a cube.
Because it's 4. There's 5 decks,
500 cards
of 114 cards.
Well, no, that
Right.
but some of those are lands.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So you would actually have. It would probably be about I think there would be enough for
Like a 400 card.
yeah,
three high 300s.
high
Maybe?
300s, which is you need
That's about enough for-
60 for an 8-man or something like that.
Okay.
So you just throw all the cards in together, shuffle them up, make the 15 card packs like you do with a normal cube, and then we just draft them and make a 40 card deck.
That
I like
sounds.
that.
That sounds so stupid.
Yeah,
and I think it's great.
There is
I think
no
this
way,
sounds amazing, and I
there's
want to
no
do
way
this.
they tested for this.
no.
Absolutely no way. There's no way, and we're gonna do it, and,
And
it's
all
gonna
of the
be
cards
awesome.
are so busted and powerful because they're designed for Commander.
Yep, I'm excited. I want to do this so bad.
We'll let you know when that happens. Obviously, like I said, we've got Desert Bus coming up. Again, if you're not familiar with Desert Bus, it's a heck of a week. We live stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while we raise money for charity and basically do whatever you tell us to do. So check out desertbus.org. We start on the 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Twitch
Pacific Daylight Time.
Desert Bus.
Pacific Time.
Yes,
I can't.
just say Pacific.
Pacific Time.
Yeah,
10 a.m. Pacific.
That's just the easiest way.
You can check it out at, again, all the links and everything are from desertbus.org, but it'll be on twitch.tv/desertbus as well. And that'll be sweet. And, oh yeah, relevant to you listeners of Tap Tap Concede, Wizards of the Coast is very generous to us with prizes, and we have some
Spicy.
bonkers stuff to auction off and give away at Desert Bus relating to Magic, so you definitely want to check that out.
Yep.
Until next time, this podcast is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So until next time, where hopefully we will not have to be broadcasting from the emergency podcast or mediation bunker, this has been Tap Tap Concede, and thank you for listening.
I'm impressed. It doesn't smell down here.
Yeah, no, I checked it out, I think, on Wednesday.
And it was like, ugh.
It's